Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Character Inspirations with CalviCalv. This week we're going to be doing still human, still the race of human, but sorcerers, so human sorcerers. And the three I have are, I'll start with a wild mage. Oh, I should probably pull that up. And so this wild mage, human wild mage. So I'm going to try to probably go one neutral alignment, one good alignment, one evil alignment. Just so, depending on the scale, it doesn't have to necessarily play that way for when you build the characters, but that way it's kind of covering the spectrum. So the wild mage is neutral because chaos, probably chaotic neutral. So the wild mage at a very young age grew up, maybe in a small town. Could have grew up in a probably big town. Probably could have grown up in a Neverwinter or even in Faith. They would actually make a lot of sense because they prefer actual wizards. So sorcerers would probably be shunned by them. But grew up wherever you were at a young age. Your magic manifested and you accidentally killed somebody. So maybe not super young, but young enough. And so maybe you went off into the wilderness and you were able to kind of keep a hang on it for a while. It would show up on occasion, but most of the time you could keep track of it. And you actually, because of how the hermit background works, is that you're making a discovery. And so maybe going out into the wilderness, doing some praying, doing some thinking, figuring out how your powers work, maybe you're trying to figure out how your chaos magic works, how the wild magic in it works, and maybe you figure out enough to feel comfortable being around people, and then that's when you go back to civilization and you run into the group. So I mean, it doesn't have to be super dramatic or a long in-depth backstory. But it kind of gets you started. So for the good aligned, I went human with a divine soul. And divine soul has it so that you essentially, you could be, the bloodline of an angel or some other divine or celestial type being. So I went folk hero. So you're from a small town, and actually you're in hiding. I guess I wrote in hiding. You were trying to hide because people expect things from you, and you want to do good, so you help when you can. But then your power manifests, or more. Something happened, and you help somebody, and so that's what happened, is that you were helping you helped the town. Maybe people got sick, and you were able to use your divine magic to cure them. And now you're their hero. You're this magical being. You probably have some kind of divine look about you, and but you really like helping people because that's kind of what you're for. You're a holier being. You can't not help people. It's not a compulsion, but it's your drive. You're driven to help people. So I mean, you still have access to arcane spells, but you also have access to healing magic as well. So it's kind of a nice and interesting character to play, because it's not necessarily like the Mystic Thirds, because I think there's actually a divine for arcane. I could be wrong, but it's a direction that some arcane casters don't get to go very often. So you can heal, and so that's what it is. What your divine parentage is. Like I said, it could be an angel, could be some other kind of celestial. That's something that you can figure out. You can do some research on them and kind of be like, yeah, no, my character is, I'm related to Gabriel or something like that. If you want to go actual angels, and so but you help people, and that's because maybe you're on the run, and maybe that's why you're in hiding, because your powers and you're part of some prophecy or something where the king in a land didn't want any divine beings or something. It's kind of a little open for your specific motivation. The third one I wanted to go with was so you're the shadow magic, which is still on the same page. Your shadow magic, and it's some of the options is you have either the uh, bloodline that comes from the Shadowfell, or you were exposed to something. I decided to go, you were exposed to something. So at a young age, this is also the evil one. So at a young age, maybe you were, doing some kind of shady stuff. You were, harming animals and such as that. So your family actually went with Waterhavian noble. So you're actually one of the nobles, and your family didn't think that you just killing animals would look good. So they figured we'll send you to somebody like kind of private school or whatever, private tutor, and then you'll learn, and maybe you'll um, kind of that'll temper the evil thoughts. But unknown to them, the person that you went to assist, he was actually the like a necromancer, like an evil necromancer, and so you became sort of his apprentice. You never got far enough, but you were at some point all of the necrotic energy that he manipulated and messed around with. Something happened, um, some accident. He died, and you somehow were able to manifest shadow magic. So kind of tap into the shadow magic of the Shadowfell, and you kind of like it because now it's this kind of dark, not necessarily evil, but this kind of darker energy source, and you like it. And now usually evil is not part of a group very well, but it could. Maybe you want to go out and kind of test it out, and you join a group, and you're like, all right, let's try this out, and they could be a good group, and you're just like, all right, I'll pretend to be a good guy. You know, adventurers get to kill people for funds, so I can go and enough about magic, and you're like, all right, I can go and I can kill some people and play around with this, and that's kind of why you got into adventuring, and that's where you got your powers from. That you somehow got exposed to Shadowfell uh, energy. Um, Alternatively, he doesn't have to be dead. Maybe later on, maybe he comes back to, and he's mad at you, and he's actually um, become some kind of undead. Maybe his thing was he actually got far enough in the process, and he actually became a lich. And you were supposed to be the soul that he put into it, but something happened, and he got a different soul instead. But maybe he's a lich. So maybe 20 levels later, you have to fight him. Or maybe he turned into some kind of other thing. Or maybe, he could be, the GM could play him off as some kind of recurring bad guy. That maybe you somehow got the magic energy that he was supposed to get, that was supposed to empower him. And so he's trying to kill you to take it back. That would be pretty cool. I just thought of that. That's pretty nice. So those are kind of the character ideas. So next week will be... Oh, I didn't look up Waterhavian Noble so that you guys could look. Oh yeah, we're in Xanathars. Xanathar's. Oh, it's in the Sword Coast Adventurers Guide is where Waterhavian Noble is. That's on me. Might be. I said that I was going to be more prepared, but then I wasn't. History Persuasion, you could be like, hey, I'm just a noble, I'm part of this, and you persuade them, hey, I'm not a bad guy. I mean, that's more deception, but you could persuade them into thinking that you're not a bad guy. I'm an adventurer. I have a bad past. I'm trying to do something good. And you can have money, and you can be kind of hoity-toity. I mean, so you'll be almost like a wizard because you'll be like, I'm so much better than everybody. But a sorcerer. So, and that's that's a good spectrum of different alignments. One of the characters in the game that I'm in, he's playing a Svirfneblin wild mage, and he also killed somebody. So that's kind of because it's chaos. So I mean, you don't necessarily have to kill somebody, but it could be something happened and you ran away. So that kind of happened to him, is that he accidentally killed somebody, and so he ran away into the Underdark and ran into some normal dwarves and actually joined them, and he actually became a clan crafter and so he's actually a cartographer, and so that's kind of his background. It's not a very intricate background, but so he's obsessed with mapping, much like my wizard, my human red wizard of Thay, is obsessed with knowledge. So it's a good direction for kind of a character to take, but it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to be obsessed with knowledge or obsessed with. Just pick something, and I hope this was kind of helpful for that. So next week will be rogues. I have played many rogues, not nearly enough rogues. I'll probably try to do. Actually, I think Sword Coast, anything in Xanathar also has Sword Coast, so I'll probably do maybe one or two. Probably one from the Player's Handbook and two from Xanathar's. Probably one of them will be Assassin, though. Assassins are kind of badass. But yeah, human rogues. Human rogues are going to be next week. Got many a class to go through. Got many a race. So, thanks for watching. If you like these videos, please like the video. If you are not already a subscriber, please subscribe. Comment. Throw down a comment if there's anything you want. I'm actually recording this like the Saturday before. The Saturday night, like tomorrow morning this is released. So, I tried putting it off in case somebody requested something. I expect to go through all of these and nobody requests anything, and then these are just all up on my YouTube. But yeah, if you have any requests for maybe you wanna, there's a character concept, I can always shoot you a personal video, or I can change it up and drop it in the middle of the week and throw some ideas for you down. Make sure you hit the bell, ding, so that you get notifications when any of my videos. These I'll release on Sunday. I have other videos that pop up for other games, for video games. Obviously, if you came to my channel, you see all the video games. Yeah, so I guess I'll catch you guys next time. Cabba cabba.